Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Tyler Perry's Sistas. So I already know y'all have seen this shirt before, but just in case y'all forgot, because it's been a while, this is what it's talking about. This is what it's saying, and I'm not gonna be able to do these all day, so I got to take those off. Anyway, let's go on ahead and get into the recap review. So the episode starts out with Calvin trying to explain why his entanglement slash cut buddy is there, because we've seen this heifer before. It's a random white woman that he always screws, and he does this because Sabrina does not want commitment with him, or at least that's what she's claiming. I don't know if her feelings have changed since the last time he's asked about that, but yeah, in his mind, he feel like, oh yeah, we made up when we screwed the other day, but I'm gonna still keep her on the side because it just is what it is. But in her mind, she feel like, okay, these are steps that will lead into the direction of me wanting a commitment with you. He ain't thinking like that. He feel like, oh, since you don't want to commit to me, I'll be cool with you and I still like you. This is just somebody I screw. Like, I don't even like her like that. I just screw her. I don't understand why people don't understand that that's not how this works. And that's on both sides. Because it's like she want to have it both ways and he want to have it both ways, and that's not how it's going to work. I cannot stand them trying to be together. To me, it is never going to work. It just gets on my nerves every time they try to become a thing. It just always ends, and I'm just like, girl, bye. Why do we keep on trying to have a situationship or whatever it is that y'all are really trying to have? Because I don't get it. I don't see the point. So anyway, everybody is waiting on Sabrina to get to the house, not knowing that all of this just went down. So they talking, and Danny proceeds to pull out the little bitty bottles of alcohol that you get when you're on the planes. And they looking like, girl, you gonna go to prison one day. Like, you still stealing alcoholic beverages? You still stealing the liquor? And she was like, okay, all of y'all gonna go down with me as accomplices. And it is what it is. So Sabrina ain't got nothing to drink, or whenever she does, it's really cheap. And so they reading and they drinking, and it is what it is. So Sabrina appears and she's in her feelings. She done came in the door and slammed her little Polly Pocket purse down. I was like, what is going on? Like, that purse ain't even big enough for you to be sitting up here trying to slam it down, but go off though. So they can tell she's upset, and she's really trying to let everybody know, no, I'm fine. And nobody knows what it is, because it's like, okay, why would that be your reaction to getting robbed? Like, it's not making sense. So eventually they were able to get it out of her because she was in her feelings, and she eventually told on herself, told them what she saw. Then she told them about the robbery. Then she was like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Somebody was like, I'm pretty sure you brought up the actual subject. So, I mean, it is what it is. And she was like, yeah, but I want to change the subject. Now, this heifer was being real petty, changed the subject, and brought up Aaron and how he proposed to Karen, and nobody knew this. And it's like, why? Why are you? She literally like almost went around the room just airing out everybody's dirty laundry. I was like, ma'am, just because you and your feelings don't mean everybody else's stuff need to be out there. Like, see, this is why don't nobody want to tell you and Danny stuff, because y'all can't hold it in. Apparently, it's got to the point nobody can keep a secret. So it's like, child, you might as well just go around and just tell everybody what it is off rip, because this is what is going to happen. This is going to be the end result, apparently. So then everything circled back to that. And I'm like, child. And then Danny looking at Andy like, okay, so you got something that you need to add? And she looking like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And so they trying to get her to say whether or not Fatima and Zach are together. And she was like, I don't know what y'all talking about. I ain't in the middle of this. I don't know what you're talking about. Because she's trying to convince everybody that she don't miss Zach. Girl, bye. Anyway, Danny, like I said, she picked up on Andy's demeanor, and it's just like, girl, they know you. They know, all of y'all know one another way too well for y'all to sit up here and lie like this, like, oh, nothing's going on. Y'all, I ain't want to, okay. Y'all gonna see that at some point, but I ain't got time for this to be wasting out. Y'all gonna see this in November. Y'all will see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I had to make sure that wasn't spilling out because that's liquid gold right there. But anyway, but yeah, Karen is over here like, okay, is there something that I need to know? And I was looking at her, I'm just really looking at this heifer like, ma'am, you're not with him anymore. Like, you were so dead set against having anything to do with him anymore. Then the money came into play. And now you're looking at him differently because he came in with a whole nother swagger and all of this. And he's doing right. And now you're looking at him like, oh, I think I judged him harshly. And he was telling the truth about not stealing that money. And so you really looking like a fool. But girl, anyway, so while they were in the middle of having their moments of reading one another, Calvin showed up. So everybody knows about what happened with Calvin. And so Andy, trying to get out of the hot seat, was like, should I open the door? And so Karen looking at her like, yeah, you should. Because she gonna get her later on, if she can. So she opened the door. And then he told us, oh, well, I guess I need to come back later. So they end up hemming him up. And he started going off. He done cussed out Danny, talking about they in his business and all this other stuff. They had to set it off because he really came in there like on 20, on 10, on whatever. Like he was on 100. He was on 1,000. He was doing the absolute most. And it was just like, how you come in mad? See, that's what I don't like about him. It's like you be caught dead wrong in a situation and you know you're wrong, which is why you came out of the room. And when you saw what you saw, you reacted the way you reacted because you saw the look on Sabrina's face. But now you want to come up in there and regulate. And it's like, child, just stop. Stop trying to make them a thing. I'm not here for them being together. I am not. So anyway, he gonna set it off. Then he gonna tell her, I'm making dinner. So be over at me and Maurice's house at 8 o'clock. You better be there. I was like, and she just stood there. She didn't say nothing to him the whole time. And so they was like, yeah, we know you gonna go. And so she was like, I'm not going. Girl, I will believe that when I see it. Don't believe you because you be doing the least. Of course, they circle back again because it's like, what we not finna do is skip over Andy. And so Sabrina said, what's going on with Gary's wife? I was just like, ma'am, all of these shots that have been fired. Why? Why are you doing this? So anyway, like she was like, that's not his wife, it's his ex-wife. And I already told y'all I'm handling that situation. Girl, bye. I'm so tired. I'll tell y'all more about that later on about Gary because y'all already know how I feel. So anyway, Preston called Danny. And so she was looking like, oh, I gotta go. So she excited and left and went home because he hasn't talked to her. He's giving her space. So they done linked up. He on the couch looking real upset. She come in all excited, taking her shoes off. Like, hey, how you doing? She had to roll up on him to give him a little kiss because he was not acting like he was acting initially when he first got with her. And so he basically was like, okay, so you know why I'm here. Like she really tried to play that role. Like, so how was your day? He was like, it was fine. She was like, oh, okay. What'd you do today? Nothing. Worked. Giving him he was giving her like 1-word answers or very, 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 very short answers. So she was like, well, what is with these 1-word answers? So he was like, we ain't got nothing in common except sex. So let's just get to it. Like he was talking to her like one of these random hood dudes would talk to a woman that he about to go have sex with. I was just like, why? She even felt accosted in the moment by the way he was speaking. So she was like, okay, it's obvious that you've been listening to my music. And he was like, have you been listening to mine? And she was like, no. He was like, yeah, I figured as much. So this fool, y'all, look, listen. Every time a scene came on with them, I screamed. Like, I was like, what is wrong with them? So he listened to her music. Tell me why he was talking about WAP. Now, see me, I've always called it WAP. I always call it WAP. People be killing themselves laughing. Ever since WAP came out, I always call it WAP. To me, WAP is WOP or WHOP or whatever. That's what WAP spells to me. That's what it's always been spelled to me, W-O-P. But I call it WAP. So anyway, he said that. I was like, what is going on here? Like, y'all don't understand. I was just like, no, I cannot with the lingo. I cannot deal with these phrases that he's taken from songs and the way he's trying to apply it in normal conversation. Like he just speaks like that when he doesn't. Like he normally takes his time and he's very romantic and very likable when he speaks. The way he was talking to her, she felt like, I don't want this. She was like, yeah, that'll be a no for me, dog. Because he was like, we ain't got nothing in common but sex, so let's get down to it. She was like, what? Why are you talking like this? Man, eventually this man stripped down and was like, but we ain't got nothing in common but that, so let's get to it. I was just like, why is he so hostile? No. I was like, what is going on here? So anyway, he was like, well, let's talk then. And she was like, well, we don't have nothing to talk about because he was like, because you don't like what I like to talk about, right? She was like, yeah. So he was like, what is the point? Like, what are we even doing? I don't understand. So that means what we're supposed to be doing is having sex. Like, he just kept going back to it. Like, I'm here to have, he legit said to her, you know why I'm here. I'm here to have sex. I was like, why? And you know he did not say sex. Like, he was really doing the most. I was like, sir. Like, he did the absolute most. So after all was said and done, he was like, look, after we've had a conversation, if we can't sit down and have a conversation and talk, then I ain't got time for it. So anyway, tell me why they show Andy going into her place. And I'm just like, every time the door opens, I'm like, why? Why is Gary still there? I'm confused because I could have swore you said, sir, I don't know how many episodes ago that if you unlock the ring, it's over with. And when it's over, that means you get up out. So why are you still there? So he there just sitting there waiting on Andy to get home. And you could tell he's just sitting there waiting on her to get home so he can give her the silent treatment. And I'm just like, get out. Like, you have money. Go somewhere, Go somewhere. Like, I can't. I'm like, when you gonna go get you your own place? Where your children at? Where are the children? Go where the children at. I was so tired. So anyway, she done came up in the place and she talking to him. She was like, hi. Girl, why? Girl, I would have been like, and you're still here, why? Like, don't make me call the police and have you escorted up out of here. Hopefully she don't have his name as a permitted occupant because they're not going to allow that to be a situation where you could just put him out. But I'm just like, somebody please do something. I'm so sick and tired of seeing him. So anyway, he told me something, oh, well, you ain't got to worry about that. I found a place. I'm just waiting on them to paint it. So she's looking like, what? So basically, I was going to come home in a few days and everything was going to be gone. And that was how I was going to find out. Girl, so what? So what? So what? So what? So anyway, then, of course, the therapist was brought up. And everything that she said out of her mouth, he said, well, that's what she said you was going to say. She done told him, well, you do know that she's manipulating you and she only saying all these things to you because she wants to screw you and all this. And he was like, well, she said you would say that. Well, she said you would say that. Every time she said something, that's what the therapist said to him. And so she was just like, why would you think that a therapist, that this is a good therapist? Why would she somehow be your therapist and after everything is said and done, things are worse off than they were? That's not a good therapist, which I agree. But I'm just saying, I'm not here for that foolishness that they had going on. I understand that stuff like that really does happen in real life. Nah, that don't make no sense to me. You ain't finna just have this. You already know. First of all, it's my place. And you had this foolishness go off in my place. What we not finna do is that. And even if I come home at a certain time, a set time every day, no, we not finna do that. So anyway, he already knew she was coming and going as she pleased. So it's like, why would you think this is the place we need to go? I'm guessing that the therapist, if this was a situation where I was talking to them in real life, they'll be like, oh, well, this is what was going to be y'all's marital bed. So we were going to do it here instead of just at a scenario in my office or somewhere else. No, I'm sorry. Don't nobody want to hear that. So anyway, she said that the therapist is a quack and she told him, leave my keys and whatever. And so he was like, well, you do know if I do that, I'm never coming back. Please do. Please get on. Y'all, I'm so sick and tired. He said that like, he really said that like he did something. And please go. So anyway, moving on to something worth mentioning. Zach came home to Fatima and brought her a bouquet of white roses. And he did the most. And she came out the room looking like a whole Fenty beauty ambassador with what she had on, the Savage X Beauty. What is it? Savage X Fenty brand ambassador. I was like, yes, Lord, come through, Crystal. So anyway, looking good. And so he done set it off, and he was like, I bought the place. So she was like, okay, congratulations, I'm so happy for you. Man, this man done set it off. He talking about, I want you to move in with me. And so she was like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. So she's used to doing things for herself because everybody always let her down. And he was like, I've always had everybody else taking care of me. I've never taken care of anybody else, and I want to take care of you. So, of course, they finna go do what they do. So, all right, it is what it is. They finna go get it popping. So anyway, Karen at the house, and before she left from meeting up with the girls, she said, I'm gonna call Zach because I want him to come over and meet up with me. I want him to come and talk to me in person or whatever. So she at her house calling him and then left a message. To my, hey Zach, this is Karen. It's good to know you ain't got me blocked anymore, but I want to talk to you, whatever. I'm just like, girl, bye. So, of course, as soon as she hang up the phone, here come Aaron popping up like usual. I ain't never seen somebody so Johnny on the spot in all my life. I just can't. So anyway, he done rolled up with Chinese food. So apparently they were supposed to link up. It's a Wednesday. This is when they do movie days or whatever. They eat and watch movies, I guess. Whatever. So she has completely forgotten all of this. He trying to figure out why is the ambiance looking like this, because you got the candles lit and you're looking good in this dress you got on. So she was like, oh, I met up with the girls earlier, and when I came home, I just wanted to feel good and put on this dress. No, heifer, you put it on because you thought Zach was going to run over there to you. And that's why the room looking like that, and you missing some of the Zach type of sex that has been going on and that type of energy. The only reason why y'all, in all honesty, when you think about Danny's situation, is pretty much how Rodeo was acting. Because that's how she and Zach's relationship is. It was mainly just fueled by sex. And the sex was amazing. They were really into crazy, screwing each other's brains out, ridiculous type of sex, not making love, right? So anyway, the movie done ended. This heifer looking crazy. He was like, are you okay? Like, he done asked her, are you okay? I don't know how many times. She was like, yeah, I'm fine. So eventually she was like, well, did you pick this movie on purpose? And so he was like, what are you talking about? The movie was about some heifer that was in love with two men, and then the person she ended up with was the person who wasn't the felon. And so he was like, oh, I didn't even think about that at all. Apparently he really didn't think about that. And he apologized and all this other stuff. And so then she trying to make it seem like she's sleepy and need to go to sleep and all of this. And so he was like, okay. Well, you apparently have a lot of stuff you need to sort out. And so she over here trying to get offensive. It's like, girl, what are you being offended for? It's the truth. You need to go somewhere and sit down. Go somewhere and heal, a heifer. Do that. So I'm just so sick and tired of her. So anyway, they start having a random moment that shouldn't have even happened. And they start making out. And I don't know why, but in my mind, I was just like, this heifer is finna either think about Zach or say Zach's name. So she was like, I want you to make love to me. Well, he said that he wanted to make love to her. And she was like, I don't want you to make love to me. I want you to F me. And so he done got all hot and bothered and got on top of her. And they was ready to start stripping stuff off. And then she was like, oh, Zach, girl, bye. I'm so tired. So tired. Y'all, I'm so sick and tired of them. I might have skipped to the end of that. That was the end of what happened, y'all. But going back, because they just got on my nerves so bad. I cannot stand them. I cannot stand him. Aaron is trash. She been trash from the beginning. He ain't got room to say nothing about Karen because he had a whole wife while he was pursuing her. Go somewhere and sit down. The heifer committed suicide, and that's the only reason why the wife ain't around right now. I said what I said. I don't care if the divorce was about to be in the process of happening. I don't care. I ain't here for it. Get on somewhere. I was tired. So anyway, so yeah, Calvin is at the house currently cooking, and Maurice is trying to figure out what is all this going on. And once he found out, he was like, did you see her face before she left here? She is not coming over here. She is not coming over here. So that bartender, he ended up coming over. He thought it was Sabrina because he is very, very, he really feels like, oh, don't worry, I'm telling you, she coming. He was like, okay, so what, you got a magic stick or something? Like, what's going on? And so he was like, that fool said, what you got, sis? I screamed. I don't know what it was about him saying, what you got, sis? Because he was like, oh, if it ain't a magic stick, then what you got, sis? Maurice killed me. He's so stupid. But anyway, it ended up being that white bartender that he had a run-in with Q before too. So he came to check on him because of course it was on the news and word and got all around the bar. So he was like, I had to come and check on you. And he was like, I tried to tell you about him. He was like, I know. So he was like, you can't stay in this funk. This fool kept saying that he is depressed. I was like, what is wrong with him? He stayed creating a random word. But anyway, so he was like, you can't stay in this funk forever. This is going to last 3 minutes. I'm taking you to a buffet. He's supposed to be taking him to like some Mexican buffet or something. I don't know. I ain't never heard of that before, but anyway, so since he's treating, he gonna go get ready. He was like, let me go let my hair down or put my hair on or something, he said. Maurice is so stupid. So anyway, Preston and Danny are talking, and they actually find out that they have a whole lot in common. Finally talking, because it's like he got so sick and tired of her. He was just like, what is it? What is the problem? Why don't you trust people? And so every time he asked her a question, even before this episode, she always be like, because in my past this happened. Oh, because the stuff happened in my past. And so he was like, you do realize I don't know anything about you, and you don't know about my past either. So we were basically supposed to infer that they had already had the conversation, and the conversation happened, and they were like, wow, we have so much in common. Like, it was just that we grew up differently. The same story, just different people. Child, they done did the most. And now, after all of this heifer want to discuss cows. He even looking like, what? As much as you say you cannot stand to hear me talk about a cow or nothing dealing with me and how happy I am about cows. Now you want to hear about a cow? I was done. I was like, no, this heifer didn't. After all that, you cannot stand him talking about a cow, but now you begging him to talk about a cow. Oh, okay. So anyway, so he was still talking to her nasty. Like one of these mumble rappers, how they would talk to somebody that they are about to have sex with. At least the way that they would talk on a track. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all know about Club God, Godzilla, or whatever he calls himself. The way he be talking about certain things, the way his songs are, that's the way he was talking to her. Wait a minute, y'all, wait. Okay, this is the part where I screamed. Okay, so they was talking. And then this fool, he kept saying stuff that was just very cringe for him to say, for it to be coming from him. Then this fool said, put your whap in my mouth. I was done. I was like, wait. Oh, y'all. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm about to cry again. It had me crying earlier. I was like, what is wrong with you? This fool said, put your whap in my mouth. Your wop. But whap is what I like to call it. I was like, wait. And she even had to be like, wait a minute. Wait. That actually, I think that turned her on a little bit. But that was hilarious. But anyway, like I told y'all, the end of the episode was where Karen sat up there and called out Zach's name while this man was about to put it on her. But anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed the recap review for Tyler Perry's Sistas. I thought this was about to be a super duper beyond boring episode, because at first everything was just in Sabrina's apartment for the longest, and I was just like, child, I was about to pick up my phone and start doing everything but watch this show, because I was just like, what is we doing? But anyway, y'all, I got a 12-hour day ahead of me. Unfortunately, they really trying me because I'm at the top of the rotation list, but I go down to the bottom on Sunday, so hopefully they don't try me again tomorrow night, and I ain't got to worry about that. So yeah, I'm really supposed to be asleep right now. Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Thumbs up this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're not done so. Y'all be safe out there, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.